Alright guys, we're gonna do Skyscrapers with Beacons Remake Part 1. The original series wasn't too good, so I'm doing a new one here, a remake. So I will not be including skyscrapers from different countries, and that means no Burj Khalifa more. And I would also not be including buildings that were deconstructed, demolished, or destroyed. So that means no WTC Twin Towers. Sorry, guys. Anyway, we got One World Trade Center, which has box rooms and FH307 on the spire. It also has markers on that ring thing that the spire's on. We got the 3 and 4 World Trade Centers, which the 3 World Trade Center has FTS for 70 hours, and the 4 World Trade Centers unknown beacons have very little dead beacon time. Empire State Building has a red only LED. It used to have an old school 300mm. The 1 Vanderbilt, which either is ILS 3600Ds or Technostrobe LEDs, so they may be HB Horizon. I know this tower does have. I know the skyscraper does have dual LEDs, white and red LEDs. The Bank of America Tower, which has white only LEDs, which I find weird that its beacons are white only. Yeah, I think that's weird. We got the 4 Times Square, which I think has an FH306 on it. This tower was complete. This skyscraper was completed when the WTC Twin Towers were still around. The Wilshire Grand Center, which has an ILS 3600. I think it's a red only. Or maybe have an HB Horizon. I can't really tell the difference. I can't really tell the differences of their flashes. The Los Angeles City Hall, which has a modern 300mm. Willis Tower, which has FH308s on the antennas. The John Hancock Tower, which has 2 sets of FTS370Ds on both antennas. It's weird how there's 2 sets. And I can tell that the bottom sets are not flashing markers because during views that day I could see the bottom ones flashing white, which proves that they are more FTS 370. So yeah, that's weird. The Trump Hotel and Tower, which it was completed in 2009, so it's too new to have 300mm, so it has some fading LED. The Aeon Center, which has an old school 300mm. I believe it's an old school. The Old Shell Plaza, which has an old school 300mm as well. I think it's old school. This random government building in Phoenix. It's 300mm or fading LEDs. The Liberty Place skyscrapers in Philadelphia, which the 1 Liberty Place has an old school 300mm, while the 2 Liberty Place has an ILS 3600R. The G. Fred DeBona Jr. building, which has ILS 3600Rs on both sides. The Lewis Hotel in Philadelphia, which has an old school 300mm on the tower that's on top of the building. Yeah, I consider this a building with beacons. This Wells Fargo building in Jacksonville, it has some weird yellow beacon that flashes like a strobe. It's the Vico Apartments. It has an old school 300mm. Random office building, which has 300mm. The Pansy building, which has a 300mm. Most of these buildings have 300mm. The Bank of America Tower in Charlotte. It has a modern 300mm. I think it does look pretty cool. The Salesforce Tower in Indianapolis, which I may film on the Chicago Arc, and my own, and I now come, and I only arcs now are gonna be out of state, or if it's somewhere deep in my state, like if it's Auburn or Montgomery, something like this. But yeah, the Salesforce Tower has a modern 300mm on both antennas. One American Square, it has 300mm, but the weird thing is that it has a white only LED on the flagpole. I'm not even kidding. It does have a white only LED on the flagpole. Watch Indianapolis Skyscraper, Indianapolis Skyline videos, and you'll probably see it. There's a random building in Boston, which has a 300mm on that antenna. The 200 Clarendon, which I believe has an iOS 3600. If you don't know what that is, if you don't know what the iOS 3600 is, it's basically the modern LED. Basically, everyone in the tower community hate these LEDs, but the only one to like FTS 370s, like all three versions, is Travis Glanton. The rest of us in the tower community only like the 370Ws, the white only ones. We got the Prudential Center in Boston. It kind of reminds me of the WTC North Tower. It has an FDB 360R. A video of this man climbing the antenna on this skyscraper. You can see the beacon, and yeah, it's a FTB 360. That's the old school LED. The One Financial Center, which has an FTB 360D on one of the antennas. Surprised it's not on both. I believe it's on this antenna, the taller one. The Coin Tower, which has a 300mm. The iBank building in Memphis, which also has 300mm. The Memphis Pyramid, which my dad took a video of it for me, and he uploaded it on my channel. But it was only a day, and the beacon's red only, it's an iOS 3600R. Yeah, I got these two buildings in Detroit. Some random building which has a modern 300mm on that, and a Cadillac Tower which also has a 300mm. I believe it's an old school. I don't think the 300mm on this building is active anymore. I think the beacon was shut off. Yeah. FAA is the Grim Reaper of beacons. Random government building in Detroit, which unfortunately has FTS 370s. They're either 370Rs or 370Ds. I only saw the Detroit Skyline videos on 9. I was too lazy to look at them a day. The GM Redison Center in Detroit, which I looked at, this is the tallest building in Michigan, by the way. I saw the skyline, on the Detroit skyline video at night. I can see that this building right here has some fading beacon. I know this is too new to have 300mm, so it must be from like a fading LED. I think all the companies that make fading LEDs are like TWR, Dilight, and probably Orga. This random building in Baltimore, which has an old school 300mm. These two random buildings in Milwaukee. This one has an old school 300mm. It's a U.S. bank. And this one has right only LEDs. Either HB Horizons or FTS 370Ws. Yeah, those are the only two light only LEDs that I know of. The HB Horizon Ws and the FTS 370Ws. I think they are FTS 370Ws. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I got this random government building in Fresno. I think it has a beacon on it. It has an LED on this antenna. I think it's an FTB 360. Alright, and yeah, FTB 360 is only the 360R and the 360D. There's not any 360W. There's also only the iOS 3600D and R. There's not any iOS 3600W. The Bank of America Plaza in Tucson. There's some random dual LED. I think, and yeah, this is the last one for this part, for this video.